Hello. Hello. I was gonna do the show, but these guys are like wood chipping over here. It's fucking never a quiet moment here in my cuddy fucking mountain neighborhood. It's just never quiet. Every day is like saws banging, chopping, fucking wood grinding. Maybe they're gonna take a break here. They've been doing it for a minute. I thought they'd be done by now. So I'll just stand here and we'll listen to some grinding. This stream is about chipping wood and how it sounds, the actual sound of wood chipping. Actually, this is just the sound of a grinder running with no wood being chipped in it. Sounds like a well-tuned machine. It's kind of a waste of gas just to have it running and you're not using it, but it's a lot quieter because when they use it, it's like, you know what I mean? This show is about the sound of no wood chipping. The sound of no wood chipping sounds like this. The sound of gasoline wasting. The sound of resources running out. There you go, shut that sucker down. Fuck yeah, man. Now that's what I call a team working with me right there. They're working with me without even realizing it. It's called synchronicity. Synchronize. Synchronize your efforts, folks. And do it unknowingly. That's what synchronicity is. When you try to force it, well, that's just called, what is that called? This is called being on a schedule or something. Same difference. See, here's the thing about same difference. Same difference, right? So that means it's the same thing. Same difference, same thing. Or does that mean the same thing? Same difference, same thing. Is that like synonymous with same thing? Same difference? Anyways, the results are the same is what I'm trying to say. And here we go. This is how I'm going to start the show because I'm going to tell you there's a few different ways of looking at this place. This is what my focus is lately. I hope it's, you know, if you don't like talking about flat earth, then fuck off. But seriously, what's wrong with you? It's like a major awakening taking place. It's been commercialized and dumbed down to where it's like this stupid thing. It's annoying, you know, but it's like, that's not what's happening here, man. People are realizing their place. And it's like, it's kind of a cool thing, man. If you haven't tapped into that yet, well, if you're fighting it, if you're laughing at it or pushing back on it or just not even interested, you know, well, that's too bad because here's the thing. It's like we're realizing that we're completely lied to about where we're at here. And so that would lead you to believe we've been lied to about a lot of things. Like, for instance, who we are and what we're capable of. If you're going to lie to people about where they are, you're going to lie to them about what they are as well. And you're probably going to lie to them about everything. So that's what I would assume, because to lie about where you are, I mean, there's a lot of effort being put forth on that one. But what's interesting about it to me lately is that it's the same difference. It's the results are the same. Now they're going to start blowing. That means they're finishing up at least. It's almost over. I just think it's funny how I got in a conversation with a Glober one time over that whole, you know, there was that video going around for a while, a long time. It comes up every so often, but it's like the video that shows all NASA's plans, their models for their aviation they build, you know, and it's like this aviation was built for use over a flat, non-rotating Earth. It says that in the model plans, the design, because when it gets down to brass tacks and people's lives are at stake, and the functionality of the thing they're making is, you know, is actually being applied, you know, they have to apply it to the situation they're in. Whereas, you know, if they tried to think about all the complicated globe math and they're all this, they have to think about all the rotating and the rotation and the fucking the inertia and all this stuff, you know, they'd spend a lot of time worrying about stuff that is to no avail, because globe earth math simplified equals flat, non-rotating Earth. That's what a Glober told me when I was mentioning the irony of their flight plans, flight model designs, their aviation designs, having the flat, non-rotating Earth as part of the design is what it's used for. This aviation is built for use over a flat, non-rotating Earth. So what they're saying is that the Earth is flat and non-rotating. Then the Globers come back and they're like, no, that's just them simplifying the globe math. And I think they're right about that because, well, here's the thing. It's like in math, when you're doing math, the correct answer, if you want to pass your math class, is the most simplified. Like you're not going to give the answer as being, it's, 4/16. No, that's not the correct answer. Although it is, but it's not simplified all the way. You're just going to say it's a quarter. It's 1/4, That you can't get any more simple than that. Point, whatever, you get the point, right? The point being, the most simplified answer in the math problem is the correct answer. That's what you give for the answer. That's the answer. And that's how you get 100% on your test, if you give the most simplified answer every time. So here we go with the globe Earth math. The most simplified answer is flat, non-rotating Earth. So am I incorrect for giving that answer? For just cutting to the chase and just being like, this is what we're dealing with here. Maybe it's all those crazy things that you're saying, but I'm just talking about like what we're dealing with here. I'm just being honest about the situation we're in. I don't go to space. Personally, I don't even believe in it because I don't have any access to it. I can't go verify it. So to be completely honest, I have to just say, look, we're supposed to believe all this stuff that's going on, but like, that's neither here nor there. That's all just a moot point because when it comes down to it, we're in a situation here where the most simplified answer is flat, non-rotating Earth. And so that's just the answer I'm giving. I'm not going to make claims about something that I can't personally verify or that I'm not personally experiencing or having to account for in any way, shape, or form. This is logic we're talking about here. Is honesty and logic. I mean, I can give all those other I know all the complicated math. I know about all of it. I've studied this shit, so I could pass the test if I felt like being dishonest and I wanted to get 100% on the test. I would give the answers that I know they want. And the thing is, I'd be dishonest if I had to tell them that they're all the answers that they want me to give them, because I know what I think and what I believe, what my thoughts are, whatever. It's about what you actually believe, what you know. Basically, I mean, the most simplified answer is the correct answer. Give that answer. You don't work backwards and tell the most complicated. Earth is, traveling at this rate with that spin and all this kind of complicated shit. It's like, that's not the correct answer. You have to simplify the math. You don't go the other direction. If that's what the math teacher is asking you to do, you can do a reverse math problem. But straightforward math involves simplifying it down to the most simplest form. You don't say it's 4/16, you say it's 1/4. That's just understood. If you've done math, you know that. So I just think it's interesting that a Glober's response would be, that's just the globe math simplified. Okay, so what you're saying is that I have the correct answer. Flat, non-rotating Earth. Okay, great. I'm glad we can finally agree. I mean, there's been a long debate going on here. A long debate. It's been going on for like 10 years. And, or longer than that. But I mean, it's like as far as this flat Earth awakening that's taking place, or maybe you could just call it, if you want to be really honest about it, just be like, flat Earth, the flat non-rotating Earth, the most simplified answer, the correct answer taking place. People understanding this, the most simplified answer taking place. Because if you don't want to get lost in the weeds, you can just keep it like that. Be like, okay, I know it's supposed to be all that other crazy stuff, but like, I'm giving the correct answer though, which is the most simplified answer. People say math proves the globe Earth. Well, it's interesting because the correct answer to all that math is flat non-rotating Earth. So, actually the math proves a flat non-rotating Earth. If the correct answer, I mean, do you see the conundrum we're in here? Like, we could go back and forth about this if you want, but the bottom line is, The correct answer is flat, non-rotating Earth. Touche, Globers. And upwards rising Earthers. Because upwards rising Earth is in the same dilemma. The results are the same. We're working with the same shit, folks. We're all in the same situation. We all have to treat the Earth how we're treating it currently. As though it were flat and stationary, non-rotating. We don't have to account for it any other way. So, anything other than that is a moot point because you haven't simplified it all the way yet. Flat Earth is about honesty, about the most simplified math. It's about the correct answer, is what it is. It's about honesty and the correct answer. All the other stuff that we're taught, you know, that's all the math that leads up to the correct answer, which is flat, non-rotating Earth. You know, and if you want to think it's all those other things, you're free to do that. But you better be free to understand the most correct answer. Or just be aware of the fact that that's the correct answer. At the end of all those things that you think, you end up in the same situation we're all in, which is a flat, non-rotating Earth. So the flat earthers, the flat, non-rotating earthers, are the people who just stuck with the correct answer. What's up, Saddlebone? Nice to see you. So we're just being as correct as we can possibly be. Anything other than that is like you haven't simplified it all the way down yet. So when you do, you'll be, you know, welcome to flat Earth. Until then, it's kind of, you're just spitting a bunch of moot points. It's interesting stuff, you know, but like simplify it all the way down though, because we're not there yet if you're talking about all that other shit that, you know, that we're supposed to believe. Personally, I don't believe it, but I know all that other shit. I could pass a test if I wanted to be dishonest and give all those answers. But the thing is, the test isn't complete if they don't ask you to simplify it all the way, because that's what math is, and they say math proves the globe. Well, simplify that globe math all the way down. Okay, please do that for me, because what you end up with is a flat, non-rotating Earth. That's why they build their aviation for use over a flat, non-rotating Earth, because they're building it correctly. That's just the math simplified, Dr. Bass. I know. We finally agree. The debate's over. Too bad there's nobody watching this, because this is like a monumental moment. I mean, Saddlebum, at least you and me know the debate's finally over. The correct answer was flat, non-rotating Earth. Phew. I had a feeling that was gonna. I had a feeling it was gonna play out that way, since I don't feel the Earth moving, and it's flat. I mean, I'm just trying to be honest here. You know, it's not like I'm trying to be a fucking propagandist or something. I'm trying to be a truther. You know, I'm just trying to be honest, keep it real. It doesn't get much more honest and real than that. Like, I know it's kind of a taboo thing to say, or it's like it's supposed to be considered lame or archaic. However, that's the globe math simplified, so we gotta just acknowledge the reality of it, as painful as it is, or humiliating, or whatever. I mean, I'm sure the people that wrote up the plans for that aviation, they probably felt kind of silly while they had to say that, but, you know, it's the globe earth math simplified, so we gotta say that because that's what we're building this for. We don't want to waste our time with all this other fucking shit that doesn't need to be factored in, you know. And you could factor it all in and be like, okay, we got to land the plane just this way, so we're like in line with the rotation of the Earth, and we got to factor it all in, so the pilot has to get all ready to land it and land it just how it's supposed to be landed, so it doesn't fucking destroy the plane. It has to land right in unison with the Earth rotation. Okay, are you all synced up? You got all your algorithms all lined up in your fucking gyros and all this shit. Okay, you got it all lined up. You got the runway made just perfectly, so it's right in line with the rotation of the Earth. Okay, land that sucker. Okay, we're coming in for landing. Whoosh, lands perfectly. Ah, see, we were right. We were right. The globe Earth math, it was correct. We were so right. We did all this math and all this number crunching. We had built the runway just so, and the pilot was perfectly lined up at the perfect synchronization of the globe Earth math. And it worked perfectly, so we were right. Okay, well now we gotta keep going though here, because you can celebrate all you want, you know, but you still haven't done the scary thing, which is Try landing it perpendicular to how you landed it last time. I know that's a dangerous and scary thing to try, because if you're right, that pilot's gonna eat shit and die. If you're wrong, that plane's gonna land the same way it landed the other way. Okay, well, who's gonna be brave enough to do this? I'll do it. Because I believe the Earth is not rotating. I think you guys just wasted all that time designing your aircraft for this specific thing. And of course it worked, because it's going to work however you land it, because it's not rotating. You guys just wasted a bunch of time. That's all you did. Prove us wrong. Okay. Lands the plane perfectly. Well, that was just due to refraction, or no, global drift, or the sun was the shadows and magnetic declination. We'll get back to you on that, but I'm sure we're still right, because obviously we're right, because the plane landed perfectly when we were right. Just because your plane landed perfectly when you were wrong, there's got to be some other explanation. We're going to hypothesize about that. We'll get back to you tomorrow. Well, it turns out in that one spot, the magnetic declination and the curvature just worked out to, I mean, it's like, I know it seems perpendicular, but it's actually parallel due to the curvature of the Earth, and you were wrong. So that's been debunked. Right? Am I right? I mean, that's how they operate. It's that dishonest. And if you're just being honest, you'll spot that shit from a mile away. And you'll land that plane however the fuck you want, because the Earth ain't rotating. That's the simplified math. That's what they've decided. And that's what we all should decide, because we can see clearly that the Earth isn't moving. Duh. Fucking duh. I mean, it's amazing that there's still even a debate going on, really. I mean, don't the Globers realize that the globe Earth math simplified equals flat non-rotating Earth? I thought they were like all these skilled mathematicians and shit. Don't they understand that math, the whole idea of math is to simplify the problem? That's what math is. So finish simplifying all that complex, random fucking garbage that you're spitting, and guess what you end up with? The thing you're telling me I'm wrong for saying. That's just interesting, man. I think that needs to be acknowledged here. I really do. I think that needs to be pointed out to somebody. Probably like one of these assholes that calls us stupid, because we're the ones with the correct answer. I mean, I'm not going to let go of that. I'm not going to let go of that. That's a victory. And it's a victory for everyone, because their complicated math ends up being simplified, so now they're correct too. And they can still have all their complicated math. They can still keep it, because it ends up equaling the same thing. We're all in the same situation, right? It can be explained however many ways you want, but when you get down to it, you got one answer, and that's it. One answer. Obviously, because we're all in the same situation here. There's not more than one answer. Simplify all your complex shit. I'll be here waiting for you with the correct answer. Flat, non-rotating Earth. I'm going to beat this dead horse all year long. Maybe I should beat it like in a debate with somebody here. I mean, I can't think of a better way to beat this one, because like this way you can still give them all their fucking complex shit and be like, fine, if that's what you think, but you're not done with your math problem. You know, if your math proves the globe, fine, but finish all the math. Okay, come on, I'll hold your hand through this. I know it's kind of awkward. Have you gotten there yet? Yeah, flat, non-rotating Earth. That's the correct answer. Can we move on to the next topic now, or what? I mean, Antarctica. If it's a flat, non-rotating Earth, you got to think about that. So we have to treat it like it's flat. So that means if I were to draw a perimeter on the ground, an enclosed perimeter, preferably a circle, so this makes sense to people that are globers, I'll never be able to draw a smaller circle around the outside of that circle because we're treating the Earth like it's flat. Now, if the Earth were a globe, we're going to treat it like a globe. There's going to be a point in time where that circle gets so big that it's actually circling around the median right there, and it's the biggest circle you're going to be able to make in this place. So after that, the circles start to get smaller somehow. You know, I'm not sure how that would work because I've never lived on a globe. I've never been in a place where I have to treat the place that I live like a globe. So really, when it comes down to it, like if we're treating it like it's flat, then I'm never going to be able to draw a smaller perimeter on the outside of another perimeter. The biggest circle I'm going to be able to draw is likely going to be the furthest away from the North Pole. That makes sense to me. And so therefore, how's the sun going to do a 24-hour sun in that place? Well, I'll tell you how. Because that place is going to be the biggest circle the sun makes. Right? So that's the 24-hour sun that you're talking about. Right there in that place. That one place. However, that one place is a big circle. So yeah, there's 24 hours of sun there. You're correct. See, we can all have the same... We end up with the same fucking answers. It's just... the Earth's flat and non-rotating, though. That's the correct answer. And then, as for the 24-hour sun in Antarctica, there's 24 hours of sun in Antarctica, just not in any one place. That's where they're wrong. And that's about to be proved anyways, I think. Hopefully. I'll be glad when it's proved, because then we can all shut up. I mean, I don't necessarily enjoy beating dead horses. I mean, I don't really feel the need to do that, but... Well, I do feel the need to do that because, for some reason, this horse is still kicking. So it's not really dead yet. It's still kicking. The horse just doesn't realize that the problem's already been solved by Dr. Bass. Everybody can be right. It's great. You can have your 24-hour sun in Antarctica because that's the biggest circle the sun's going to make. So it's going to be there for 24 hours, just not in any one place. But you don't need to even say that. You can just say there's 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Yep, that's the biggest circle the sun makes. And now, you can also have all your fancy globe math, because when it's simplified all the way down, you end up with flat non-rotating Earth. So now I can be right too. Now I don't have to be stupid anymore. See, so we can all win. It's a win. It's a win-win-win, because we're all in the same situation here. That's what it boils down to, really. I mean, I don't like to fight, and I want to be united with all people. I want the same thing Lucky Haskins wants. I want these adversaries, that have made themselves such, abrasive personalities at times, McToon and the like. Like, I want them to realize that, we're all on the same team. We're all on the same boat. We shouldn't be fighting with each other. We should have respect for each other. And we're all right. We're all correct. They can be correct because all their math, it all ends up working out to what we were saying. So they're right. All their math they were saying is right, but they just didn't finish it all the way. So that's the only part where they were kind of wrong, but it's okay because they can still keep all their math and pat themselves on the back and congratulate each other because they can be right, But the thing is, we can be right too because that's what all their math ended up equaling. Our answer. So maybe they owe us an apology, but they don't have to apologize. I know it's kind of humiliating, I'll just take the win and they can take the win and we can move on. They can even have their 24-hour sun in Antarctica because there is 24 hours of sun in Antarctica because Antarctica is a huge ring, the biggest ring the sun makes. So technically there is 24 hours of sun there, just not in any one place. But they don't have to get in the nitty-gritty if they don't feel like it. Just I'll agree that there's 24 hours of sun in Antarctica, and I'll agree that the globe Earth math checks out. I'm not going to agree that the Earth is a globe, but I'm going to agree that the math checks out. Because the math equals a flat, non-rotating Earth, and that's what I think Earth is. But I don't even have to say what I think. I'll just say what the math says. Taking dabs. When I smoke fucking flower these days, I don't even get stoned. I gotta smoke the raw dab. The fucking live resin. My plants are almost fucking, they're flowering. They still got a couple more months. Anybody else grow pot? Am I just a stoner flat earther living in his parents' basement? Is that what this boils down to? I'm just a dumb flat earther who finally realized that the debate's over. I just don't want to fight anymore. What's the point? I mean, I think McToon could probably just, you know, just lighten up a little bit, dude, and just admit it, man. Austin's a pretty good looking guy, you know? He is. What's it? He doesn't look like his face is manure with hair growing out of it. He doesn't look like that. That's rude. His face is not manure with hair growing out of it. That's just rude. So he can take back his untrue statements he's made. And, if there's anything I said that was untrue, I'll take it back too. But I'm trying to think what that would have been. The thing is, they can't really say Earth is a globe anymore. They can just say the globe Earth math checks out. I'll let them have that. They don't even have to say the globe Earth math equals flat non-rotating Earth. I'm not going to require them to say that. They can say the globe Earth math checks out, and I'll agree. I'm not going to agree that the Earth is a globe because the globe Earth math checks out, but I'll agree that it checks out because it just so happens that it checks out in my favor. It's kind of ironic, I know. And, I don't like to give the upwards Earth too much attention, but it turns out they're in the same boat as everybody else. We're all on this boat together. And so all the math that they would come up with ends up having the same. Simplified math ends up coming out to the same result. All of our, it's silly to think that it wouldn't because we're all in this together. Nobody's experiencing anything different. Planes work the same for everybody. You get in an airplane, you're going to land it the way you would if you were a flat earther or a globe earther or an upwards earther. You're going to have to land the plane the same way that you would if you're any one of those three belief systems. And it just so works out that the flat non-rotating Earth is, the correct answer. So, but you can have all your complex math and then use that to justify your belief that the Earth is this other thing. But you do have to admit that the math ends up equaling what I'm saying. And for me, I feel like I'd do better to just not even really tell you what I believe because I know it conflicts with what you believe. But we can at least both agree and know that the math equals the same answer, that we're all working with the same situation, obviously. That should have been understood from the start. How you get there is up to you. I just was honest about it. I just went out and looked at the Earth and realized my experience with the Earth and how I treat it is in line with the simplified answer. And so I just cut to the chase and said, okay, flat non-rotating Earth. I'm describing the Earth how I experience it. I don't even have to tell you what I believe it is if I were, if I weren't on Earth looking at it, because I'm never going to be in that situation, I'm pretty sure I won't. If I am, and I see Earth as it is, from a distance, and can look at the whole thing in a glance, I'll make my claim then. Until then, it'd be fallacious for me to say anything, because I've never seen it from that vantage point. So, and like I've said before, it's interesting how the only people who claim to have seen Earth from that vantage point, astronauts, they have yet to show up into our conversation. There's been a couple interactions, but it hasn't been up, it didn't satisfy to my standards. And what they need to do is they need to get on our some popular they need to get on Jeranism's show or some flat earther show that's got a lot of people watching and just make themselves available for us, to be questioned or talked to politely, questioned and then, cater to our wishes, because they're supposed to be that's what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be exploring and being these heroes. What kind of hero doesn't talk to his people when they're doubting them? If you're a hero and you're this great, taking all these risks to further the progress of science and technology, and there's a group of people that, we're not just a community anymore. We're a fucking percentage of society now. Like it's a different situation now. Like if there's a percentage of society that just doesn't believe what they're saying, well, they should make a point to address us. Like why would you want to ignore that? That's suspect. And basically, that just sort of nullifies their claims, in my opinion, because if there's an alternative perspective from what they're saying that's basically exposing them as being fraudulent, and they don't address that, they refuse to even acknowledge it to the extent that it needs to be, then they're basically just they look like people that are like in denial about the situation and just hoping nobody notices or something. They hope they just keep the majority, you know, buying their story. But like at this point, there's people on the world stage that have said the Earth is flat, calling the astronauts liars, and they have yet to come and defend their story. So it's really looking like, see, basically, if you don't defend your story, then your story, in a lot of situations, your story ends up falling apart, and you look like you look fraudulent, unless later your story becomes obvious to everyone as being true. But like in the meantime, just the way human politics and just the way the human nature is, it's like the way logic kind of works. I mean, I might seem fallacious, but it's like, if you don't defend your story when it's been sort of put in serious question, and there's enough people that are just steadfast, staunchly opposing that story, saying that I don't think that's true. I think they're lying. I think it's fraudulent, and we have enough evidence to support that understanding that we've reached, and nobody's come to like explain it all away and help us achieve the same understanding they have. Like basically, what I would want is an astronaut to join forces with us and be like, what do I need to do? And then allow us to make some requests and follow through with it if it's reasonable, which it will be. All I want him to do is give us his phone number and be available when the next time they're going to space, in ISS. I want to be on that rocket with him, and I want to be in a live, so I can look out the window. I take the phone to the window. I want to see out the window. I want to see the whole thing. I want to see when you get there. I want to see when you start floating. I want you to be on the phone with me the whole fucking time. When you get there and you have to start doing your science, I want to see some of that too, by the way. But, you don't have to keep me on the whole time. I just want to be able to call you whenever I want and have you show me out the window and the cupola or whatever. And I want you to show me when you come back down. I want the whole, I want to vicariously take part in it, because the way it always is cut up and like, it's a production, the way I see it, it doesn't look real, And I just have a hard time believing that anyone's ever gone 17,000 miles per hour on any vehicle anywhere, or that you could even film that if it was going that fast. I mean, it's fucking fast. Right? Am I right? I think I'm right. If they want me to believe their shit, then they just gotta make it believable. And it's not believable right now. We've seen too many mistakes. They present it as though it was a fucking production, like the way they cut to like CGI right when the rocket starts to arc. It's like, that's suspect, because perhaps it's arcing because what goes up comes back down in most situations. What I'm saying is perhaps it's arcing because it's about to come back down to Earth and crash into the water. But it just conveniently cuts to CGI every fucking time. That's why I want an astronaut to bring us on board with him, but via his digital device. And they're probably going to say, "Oh, we lose signal right when the rocket starts to arc." It's just always so convenient for them that their story fucking ends up allowing them that much wiggle room. But I'd say it's convenient for us too, because we can still just be like, well, either they have that wiggle room or we're correct. I mean, we still haven't settled it yet. Like now you got to work on being able to get signal when the rocket arcs. Why can you get signal there? Why can't you get signal there, but you can get it from the ISS? Like, how does that make any sense? It doesn't. So that's the deal with the globe. It's like it always wiggles out of whatever kind of fucking situation we put it in. It wiggles out somehow. You can see a mountain from 300 miles away. That's just because light refracts and space and time bends. Space and time. That means space, like the space between us and that 300-mile away mountain, bent. So you could see it. There, we wiggled right out of that one, right? How'd you like that? I don't think I've even heard anyone say that. I should stop making their arguments for them. It's not good practice. Although I think it's good to steel man. I wish they'd steel man us more often. I mean, we deserve it. We've been put through so much fucking heckling, and it turns out the correct answer was what we've been saying the whole fucking time. We already knew that, but like, it's just a matter of everyone being honest and just get down to the nitty gritty of this whole thing. Simplify the math all the way down and admit we were right. And I'll say your globe math checks out, and we can all just go home happy. Because that's the thing, we got to stick together here. Like, you know, I mean, I'm not really satisfied with that 100% because I know that you still believe that Earth's a globe. However, I don't want to be your adversary. We need to stick together because there's some shit coming down the pike that's just as important. You know, what I want you to realize is that you're being deceived ultimately, but like, if you don't want to look at it that way, fine. Sorry to be all dabbing out, but I was like self-medicating. Is there anybody out there? Am I making any sense? Do you think this would hold up against McToon? Probably not, huh? They'd probably just be like, no, I'm not happy with that. We can't have you saying that because now people are going to think the Earth is flat, not rotating. No. It's all about how you phrase it, McToon. It's like, you can say the globe math checks out, and this is the answer. Flat, non-rotating Earth. I don't think they would ever concede to that. But the thing is, they have to. If they're building aviation, just admit it. You know, it's like, I mean, do you want us to think you're dishonest? Or do you want us to respect your globe math? Because I'll respect it if you're honest about what the answer is. That of a flat, non-rotating Earth. Because what that implies is that the Earth could be flat, non-rotating. Hey, Tony's Coffee House, nice to see you. That gives us all our win that we want, you know? Because if that's what the simplified math is, then obviously that's a possibility. You can say all that other stuff if you want. That's a possibility too. I'll give that to you. However, I 100% am flat Earth, stationary Earth, because that's the correct answer. I'm willing to be 100% surprised, though. You know, I'm trying to be as, like, I guess you would say liberal. Or yeah, I would love to go to Flattoberfest, man. I was thinking about going there and playing some music, hanging out. You know what time of the month it is this year? Because it's usually it's right on my kid's birthday and my mom's birthday. They have the same birthday, October 21st. And that's been the main reason I haven't been able to go. And because it's usually far away from me. Vegas was a lot closer, but I'm not a big fan of Vegas, really. I'd love to go to like a smaller event in a more of a humble situation where it's not like Sin City, you know. I don't necessarily want to go to Vegas anymore. I've spent plenty of time there already. And it's just so fake, you know. It's like the epitome of fake. And it wears on you. But I would love to go to work here with the Kakalaki crew and all those guys because I think they seem like really cool people that I would have fun hanging out with. And, you know, like me, I can talk flat Earth all day. So I would have a blast at a place like that, at an event like that. Oh, that was Yeah. Oh yeah. Fucking Girl Scout cookies. 11-hour drive. Yeah, see, this is the thing. I don't really want to fly on a plane ever again. It's like a 5-day drive for me. California. Could probably drive it in like 3 days if you just drove constantly. Well, drove all day and slept for a night, drove all day, slept for a night, drove all day. You probably can make it there in 3 days. But you'd have to be driving all day. I've driven to Phoenix in 14 hours from here. Like a day, basically. And then from there, I think I would take the southern route because it's just, you can go faster. I'd imagine going through the Rockies and stuff takes longer. I don't know for a fact. I've never driven all the way out there. I've been out east when I was younger. I flew to Virginia. Like that flight. First, we went to Chicago, and then we landed in Tennessee, and then drove to Virginia from there. But Chicago's crazy, man. When you fly, have you ever flown into Chicago? It's insane. It's insane. Like I remember, like when we got to Chicago, we sort of leveled out, and the pilot's like, "Okay, we're in Chicago. We'll be landing in a half hour or something." I'm like, "What?" Because we just looks like we're like we sort of leveled out. We're like flying over the city. We'll be landing in like a half hour. I'm like, "What do you mean half hour? What are we gonna like circle the airport for a half hour? What the fuck?" But like, I don't know if it was a half hour. It was some odd amount of minutes. It seemed like a long time. And I was like, I thought we were about to be landing, and we just flew and flew and flew and flew and flew, and it's just sprawling city as far as your eye can see the whole time. I'm like, what the fuck? I had no idea. I had no fucking idea, man, that city was that big. Or that there was a city that big. It was incredible. I was young, kind of, I'd never been out there before, but like Chicago's fucking big. I don't know how, like, I know when I've flown over San Francisco or other cities, like, it's pretty quick, it's over in a couple minutes or whatever. But Chicago, we were flying for a while, man. Before we landed, I was fucking wild. Oh, it's coming right up. It's the end of September, huh? Shit. Yeah, that'd be cool. It's a long drive, though. I really don't want to fly. Are you like, where are you at? Are you back east? Eastish? I'm all the way on the west coast in California. You're in Michigan. Have you been to Chicago? Have you flown over Chicago before? I've known a lot of cool people from Michigan. My ex-girlfriend is from Michigan. And one of my bandmates that I was in a band with for 10 years, he was from Michigan. He was from Ann Arbor. But you got friends in California that are coming out there. Oh. I take it they're flat earthers. That's cool, man. The thing is, if I was going to drive all the way out there, I'd like to take my time doing it. There's some places I want to go to actually in the northern. Like, I want to go to Dakota. I guess it's South. I don't know which Dakota it is. I want to go see Devil's Tower or whatever, I think that's in Wyoming. But honestly, what I want to see even more than that is the petrified forest in Black Hills, Dakota. That's all. I don't know which Dakota it is. I've just heard it's Black Hills, Dakota, and it's not that far from Devil's Tower. And the whatever the hexagonal columns, basalt columns. But there's a petrified forest out in Black Hills, Dakota that's sort of gone. It hasn't really been on the radar as far as a truther, you know. I have reason to believe that there's massive petrified trees there. Some of the footage I've seen from that area, I don't know if it was a video I've seen. The video could have been misleading, so I give it that much. But it's like, what it looked like is that there was evidence of massive fucking trees that were petrified. And it's like, it's been verified to be petrified wood, and the trees are fucking, like there was one tree, and there's like one stump that's like, like, I don't know how wide it was, but it was, so like maybe like a portion of a mile or something. It was like big. It might have been somewhere else, though, honestly. But there was they showed some trees that were like, that were laying down, where it's like, it just looked like a big rocky cliff, and it was like, we're talking like those like Titan-sized trees, whatever, those big fucking trees, the ones that Karen B has a hard time believing existed. And that's kind of one of the main reasons I want to see those firsthand, so I can say, like, so I can come with some like actual evidence of that theory, because I do believe that theory has merit. Although I don't think every Craggly Mountain, used to be a tree or a building or something, but maybe in some cases, I'm not going to say it was for a fact or anything, but I'd like to actually document verified petrified trees that were like bigger than any tree anybody's ever thought existed, kind of thing. And that's how the video I saw pitched it as being. It's like, science has kind of ignored this petrified forest. It's sort of gone off the radar, still. But it's like, it pretty much puts our history in a new light. Like, there used to be trees that were really fucking big here, and it provides great evidence for that argument that a lot of people have shrugged off as being, just crazy talk. Whereas I don't think it's crazy talk, and I think I've seen evidence, that totally proves that. But it's just weird, because I mentioned it to Karen B. I watch Karen B a lot. I like the way she is. I think she's an honest person, and she's skeptical, which is good. But I remember saying something, so like, look up something about the Black Hills in Dakota, and I don't think she ended up doing it. I just know I didn't get closure on that. I want her to admit that maybe there's actually evidence that there was really big trees here before, because she's made an argument that that's just crazy talk. Yeah, so you've flown over Chicago before? It's fucking huge, huh? We landed in O'Hare Airport. I can swear we were flying for like at least a good 20 minutes before we landed. I was like, man, this city goes and goes. And like, when we landed, we still weren't at the end of the city or anything. O'Hare, it's fucking huge also. It's intimidating. Got this tree grinding out here going on. I don't know what happened. I used to get a lot more people that would watch my show. I must have gotten really, like, progressively more and more boring or something. But I got my loyal friends. Thanks for coming. 4 hours to drive through, Chicago? Yeah, that's pretty fucking big, man. That's wild. 4 hours to drive all the way through it. Like, there's highways that you could drive for 4 hours at, like, highway speed, and you still wouldn't be all the way. Wow, that's crazy. If that's true, that's crazy. Like, how many miles is that? That's got to be a few hundred miles. What the fuck? That's crazy. Hey, Justina. Nice. So you missed it. I just finished a 10-year debate. Unfortunately, there was no Globers here to consent to that, but the title of the show pretty much says it all. I'm referring back to a interaction I had with a Glober where I made a video saying, the aviation is designed for use over a flat, non-rotating Earth. It says that in the model design. So So it's worth acknowledging that that's when it comes down to like brass tacks and people's lives are at stake, and you want your aircraft to work. You don't want to waste a bunch of time designing something for something that's just a moot point. You simplify the math all the way down, and you design it for that, which turns out the globe Earth math simplified all the way down is flat non-rotating Earth. And the video, I didn't say it like that in the video, but the Glober responded in my video by saying, that's just the globe Earth math simplified. They just do that to make it simpler. And I'm like, so this is my response to that, which is, yeah, that's what math is. That's what you do with math. You simplify it. That's the correct answer. If you haven't simplified it all the way down yet, then you're not giving the correct answer. You don't say it's 4/16. You say it's 1/4. So if you haven't gotten all the way down to the answer, which is a flat non-rotating Earth, then you're not giving the correct answer if you're talking about math. So, which that's usually what they refer to. The math proves the globe. And I'll give them that. But I don't say it proves it. I'll just say the globe math checks out. Because the simplified globe math ends up with what I was saying, flat non-rotating Earth. So we both can have our correct answer. We can both be right. My answer was correct. I don't have to do anything. I'm right. And it turns out their math checks out. I'll concede to that. So I'm not going to concede that I think the Earth is a globe. I would be dishonest if I said that, because I've never left our Earth and looked at it. So, but the thing is, we can both have our win, because I'll concede that the globe Earth math checks out, because the simplified math equals what I think Earth is. I don't even have to say what I think Earth is. I just have to say the simplified math ends up being a flat non-rotating Earth. That's how we treat it. That's how I experience it. I'm just being honest. And that's the correct answer anyway. So why would I even be chastised or belittled for saying that? Granted, I'm not sure I'll get the Globers to concede to this, but and I don't really necessarily plan to try that, but all the same, in a debate, I think that would pretty much, I don't know what you would say to that in response. You could say, well, if the math ends up, checking out, then obviously Earth is a globe. It's like, I don't know. You can't really say that with 100% honesty unless you've actually left Earth and seen the Earth, and unless I was there with you, then we're just talking shit, because I could say that Earth is flat and non-rotating, and I'm correct. That's how we treat the Earth. So you can't say that I'm wrong now, so I get my win, and I'll concede that your globe Earth math checks out. I'm not going to concede that it proves the globe Earth. That would be fallacious. And you have to admit that. Because just because you have math, the math is factored out in such a way to where it equals what I'm saying, that doesn't necessarily prove that you're right. It just proves that you can use math to create some fancy story that could be or might not be true. It's not proof. What would be proof? Well, if we could, that's the thing, if we could somehow detect or measure those things that you're saying about the Earth. But we can't, because the math simplified ends up being in flat, non-rotating Earth. So from our vantage point, it's impossible to prove all that shit. You can use the math all you want, but I could just as easily say that why would you want to waste your time with that? Because the answer is flat, non-rotating. You don't give an answer in reverse and tell all the other complicated shit that came before that. The answer is flat, non-rotating. I just wouldn't let go of that one, It's that's a win. You don't have to concede, but I'm conceding that your math checks out. You just have to concede that your math equals what I'm saying. I know that's kind of difficult because you really kind of dug yourself into a hole on that one. It's kind of funny, isn't it? It's funny but true. I'm just being honest. That's why it's a truther, subject versus science. I mean, by definition, it is science, and math, but ultimately you're more safe if you don't have to make any claims as to the overall, the whole thing. Because like if you haven't gone there, like to see that with your own eyes, you'd be sort of dishonest to say that you know that it's that for a fact. You can put trust in all these astronauts if you want, but I don't trust them because they haven't come to our flat Earth fucking podcast or whatever and tried to be our friends or anything. Let us talk to them. So that being said, it's sort of like this elitist thing where it's like that's not really how science is supposed to be conducted. You're supposed to talk to the people that are your naysayers or whatever, and you're supposed to work through it, together. We're not a community anymore. We're a percentage of society. Like we're not like a small community. I mean, this little corner of it is, but like there is a percentage of society that thinks astronauts are liars. And so they got some splaining to do. Oh man. I think I'm gonna have to put on like a tank top and some shorts because I'm wearing my give up on life pants. At least the wood grinding came to a halt. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and get in some lighter clothing. Put on some non-give up on life pants. I'll put you here if you guys want to hang out. I'll be much obliged. It's only gonna take me like maybe 2 minutes. And then I'll play some fun music and we'll laugh and we'll have fun and be happy that we were right the whole time. Celebrate. Talk amongst yourselves or something or whatever. I hope you're still here when I get back. Give me 2 minutes. I don't wanna live in a zoo. Do you? You need a zookeeper. I don't sneak around, but I wear sneakers. I don't vote 'cause I don't need a leader. You shouldn't need a leader either. Put me to the test, too. You will see that I'm better than the rest. Yes, that's me. That's who I hope to be. Put me to the test. You will see that I'm better than the rest. Yes, that's me. That's who I hope to be. Step down from your throne before you're thrown down from the steps. Yeah, that's what's coming next. If you test it, yes, you guessed it. I don't wanna live in a zoo. Do you? I think we already do. It's too fucking hot out here. Too fucking hot, man. Too fucking hot, man. It's hot. Oh, brother. This thing's way out of tune. Oh, man, I'm fucking roasting. Isn't the sun crazy? I think the moon used to be a sun. It's like this husk of a, it's like the moon looks like it used to have some kind of functionality, like it used to be something else. Like they say all those craters are from impact. But like that's kind of a shabby story since we never see any of those impacts taking place. And since they would have all had to have hit it straight on. And they're all over the moon, which looks like a sphere. So how would that happen? None of them are like skid marks. They're all like head on. So it looks like something maybe came out instead of hitting it, since we never see anything hit it for one thing. And like if you look at the moon, there's like these. There's like a navel. It has a navel. Like if you're here in the where I am in California, like the moon on the bottom of it, looks like it has a little navel, and it looks like it has like sort of like stretch marks that lead to it. Like it's got a weird sort of fleshy sort of look to it. Like a. That's why I say it looks like a navel because it looks kind of like a pregnant belly or just it looks like it used to be kind of fleshy, or like there was some like it used to be something else. Like it looks like it had some kind of purpose before it was just a husk of a fucking thing floating through the sky, just being lit up by the sun and glowing and looking hella cool and functioning as a perfect clock, part of a clock. But like I think there could have been a time when that used to be a sun, and like the sun could be like this like hollow sphere that has like this electrical energy that it's getting, it's sort of recycling, it's got some sort of electromagnetic fucking, some kind of like AC/DC. What I'm saying is like I think it's like this electrical phenomenon. It's a plasma. It's like I think the plasma is coming out of these little what later would be look like craters. It's like but like these little holes in this ball. It comes out and it provides all this light and heat. And like when people get film the sunspots, it's like perhaps is some of those little holes like sputtering out or like you know lose like there's not plasma coming out of that hole for a second. It's like so you get a chance to see into the sun. You see the inside its dark hollow center, and but then the spots change. It's like a couple of little plasma tubes will like they'll stop working for a second, but they'll heal up. Like it self heals, kind of like it starts functioning again, and the spots will change in different areas, But if there's only so much plasma the thing can create, after a set amount of time, it sort of sputters out and goes dark, and we have like a dark age forever. It might not be very very long, but the Earth, it's programmed to spit out another sun. And where would that come from? Well, where does the sun start? In the middle, right? Mind you, we're treating the Earth like a flat, non-rotating Earth because that's how we treat it. That's a simplified math. So let's think about this. Where the sun, where it starts, is in the middle. So that's probably where it comes out. There's probably a big hole right in the middle of Earth where a new sun will pop out. I'm speaking hypothetically, by the way. And once it goes dark, the Earth knows to spit another sun out, and boom, the sun is born, and it's gonna last another however long they last, and maybe this time around we're only on our second sun, and the moon is just a fried husk from the last sun. It's just still up there floating around. I mean, what's it gonna do? We probably have there's some reason it hasn't been hit by the sun. Maybe it's not the same, whatever. In any case, it's just a husk of the sun floating around up there in the firmament, whatever. And up there where the ether gets really thick, and stuff kind of gets held in place, Just an idea. And that's what the craters are, though, just like where the plasma tubes were shooting out. And the little navel is like, like I said, the sun gets born from the Earth. It's like there's some suns down there waiting to be born. They're all attached to this little navel, little plasma navel down in the center of Earth, the core. So when it's born, that navel breaks off, comes out, lights up the whole place again. It starts doing its circles, all the way out and back again. That's what I was saying. I'll even give the globe Earth people, I'll give them their 24-hour sun in Antarctica, because I do believe there is one. And there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. And I do believe that Antarctica is the biggest circle the sun makes, actually. And so while it's making that circle, there's 24 hours of sun in that ring, but just not in any one place in the entirety of it. So that's where they're kind of misleading with their information, and that's why they have yet to produce any real fucking evidence of it. But I'll still let them have 24-hour sun in Antarctica, but just not in any one place. So we got to just work together, because we're all on the same team. We're all on the same boat, whatever, how you want to look at it. But like whatever you think is going on in the big picture, refine it down to the most simple answer, and I'll see you there. Hey, I know what AI is. AI is just one eye. Hey, I know what AI is. AI is just an eye. Hey, I know what AI is. Do you know what AI is? Hey, I know what AI is. AI is just an eye up in the sky. It's going to spy on you and I and everyone in society. Say goodbye to your privacy. Yeah! It's the most realistic shit you're going to get, but it's still fake shit. Don't mistake it for being real. It's not alive. Teach it how to walk, how to talk, how to pick a lock, how to wash your socks, how to read your mind. Teach it how to jump rope, how to cook dope, how to tell a joke, but it don't understand the punchline. Teach it how to repeat shit, but can it keep a secret? I don't think so, it won't know why. Hey, I know what AI is. AI is just an eye up in the sky. It's going to spy on you and I and everyone in society. Say goodbye to your privacy. Yeah! It's an algorithmic gimmick, been given no limit, goes all the way out, around, and back in it. It's the official, artificial, digital idolatry. That's really all it could be. To call it intelligent is intellectual dishonesty. But once the cat's out of the bag, it's impossible to put it back. Fact check this, fact check that. Teach it how to play Tetris and chess and checkers and tic-tac-toe. Teach it how to repeat shit, but can it keep a secret? I don't think so. I don't think so. Hey, I know what AI is. AI is just an eye up in the sky. It's going to spy on you and I and everyone in society. Say goodbye to your privacy. Yeah. That sounds like beating down on me right now. Getting all beat down. Ow. I'm going to wrap it up, folks. I love you. Thanks for watching my show. Tell all your friends and family. Dr. Bass. It's so good.